Hi, very good morning to you. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Okay, guys, we're in a bit of trouble here at the Observatory. One of our main sponsors has ended, the sponsorship. You know what, Jim? I've got to say one thing to you. A huge thanks for all the support you give us. And you know what, you was very much the live stream of this observatory, for supporting us with the funds that you have over the months, for as long as you have. And, your support will be greatly missed. And, the only thing I've got to say is thank you very much for your support. £500 a month that you've been, supporting us with over the last few months, going back, many months, is a big deal for us at the Observatory. But I can't help, if I'm honest, guys, I can't help thinking that the reason why maybe that support has come to an end is because the expectancy of us passing that 40-degree mark and, not seeing an acceleration now in the magnetic poles, is probably not the best thing to do to put a date on it. But let me tell you something. 4.5 years ago, we told people that March 23 would be a significant point in time for, activity relating to the magnetic North Pole, in that we may pass that 40-degree mark and then see an acceleration. Well, first of all, we're around 13.4 miles, as you can see from the measuring, away from the 40-degree mark. And, to predict something like this and be even half right is a milestone, and people need to realise that. Because when we noticed significant activity a few months ago, about 3 months ago, with the magnetic North Pole stopping for the first time in over 100 years and going back and then going forward again, and at a slightly increased rate. If we measure the magnetic North Pole migration now, it's around 2.8 miles per month, which is faster than it's ever travelled. And to predict that 4.5 years away, and for that to start taking place right now, is, a remarkable achievement. You've got to realise that. We haven't passed the 40-degree mark yet, and, it is still a theory that when we do, we will see a significant increase in the rate at which the magnetic North Poles are migrating. But we've not been wrong, and I want to show you why we've not been wrong. You need to realise this. To be even this right, to predict this 4.5 years away and to be this right is a remarkable feat for our small observatory that depends on just very little revenue, every month. And, the sad thing is we've lost a massive chunk, and, £500 to a lot of people that are watching this isn't a lot of money, but it is a big amount of money for us here. And it significantly will change things for us here. But I want to show you something, right? Your Gene at maverickstar Observatory has not let anybody down to this point in time at all, and I just wish more people would see this. So it's worth me just showing you how well we have been in our predictions to this point in time. Because when we first announced that the magnetic North Pole had ground to a halt, we copped a lot of flack off skeptics, people that do bad service to others. And I know that this is going to wind up a few people, but who caused a lot of trouble for our channel was Ben Davison at Suspicious Observers. And when you compare what we do to what he does, we're the ones using the scientific method. We're the ones that took 2 years out to program the Trimax system and build the Trimax system. And we're the ones that record every 3 seconds the data that pinpoints the magnetic North Pole. Ben Davison is a mouthpiece that just goes round talking about regurgitated information from the mainstream resources, the mainstream organisations. He relies solely on the on magnetic data that has been produced by these big organisations, these very same organisations that tell us that CO2 is responsible for changing the climate on our planet. He has not got any scientific equipment that he uses to record his own data, so he's relying solely on, NASA, NOAA, ESA, etc. He's caused a lot of trouble, and he has brought a lot of trouble to our channel over the years. And you know what, we have never did anything to provoke this behaviour. Enough about him, because you can't compare the maverickstar Observatory to what he does, because we're the ones monitoring things. We monitor CO2, atmospheric oxygen, the magnetic North Pole position. We give you accounts of and archives of all the volcanoes that have been erupting over the last 4 years, and we display every bit of information on our dedicated website, poleshiftnews.com. 20,000 people are serviced every week by the information we put up on that website. And of course, we get 100,000 views on YouTube. And the difference between ourselves and suspicious observers is we don't sell books, we don't sell cups, magazines, baseball caps. We don't ask you to come and attend lectures, poorly led lectures on these topics. And we don't slate every other scientist out there in the field of not just geomechanics but anything to do with our planet. We appreciate, and we we go through what data they are portraying, and if it falls in line with what we've got and what we collect, we support other scientists. Not every scientist on this planet is out there to do harm and mislead people. Let me show you something that we predicted before this information was relayed out there to the general public, because it's significant and it backs up our work here with relationship to the magnetic North Pole migrating. Anyone with the slightest amount of knowledge in geophysics or geomechanics would know that these two things could not coincide at the same time merely by coincidence. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I want you to look at the date that this was published, and then all you need to do is go back early in the month of February, because what we was telling people is that we had noticed significant changes, and we came out before this was published and told people that there was significant changes taking place. Scientists in California, actually professors in California, came out and said that the Earth's inner core was slowing down, could possibly stop and reverse. Now, we predicted 4.5 years ago, the month of March, that we would see significant changes, and we was right. Only by a month before March, we started to see significant changes in the data that we was collecting on the magnetic North Pole, and we revealed that to you well in advance of this article coming out. You can read it yourselves. Now, we don't have a crystal ball here. We just measured the migrating pole at a rate and was able to make a forecast based on that rate. That's science. That's how we do things in the scientific community. We take measurements and we record data, and based on that data, if there is a trend, we can predict and forecast what is going to take place next. And that is why I came up with the date of March 2023 4.5 years ago. Do you understand what I'm saying? That we was absolutely smack bang on the ball. We got it right. Although we haven't passed that 40-degree mark, we are only a very small distance away from it. And yet what we've managed to do at this small observatory on the small budget that we have to run it is be highly accurate, come forward before other big organisations and notify the general public that watch us on YouTube and visit our website. You know, over the last couple of weeks, since we entered the month of March, we've been having a lot of people say, oh, shut your channel down, you was wrong, and this, that and the other. But no, to the contrary, we was absolutely right. Absolutely right. We predicted this would happen 4.5 years ago, and we've been slap bang on the money. We was absolutely right. So all our work paid off, regardless of whether we've surpassed that theoretical mark of 40 degrees. You know, we're not in control of anything, you know, Mother Nature decides to do. If she wants to halt the magnetic pole, that's her business. But you understand that, you know, it is a fact that, you know, professors noted the Earth's course slowing down. This is not a small thing, guys. You know, there are major changes taking place to our planet Earth right now, which could incidentally lead to, you know, a terrible outcome, to say the least. You know, if our magnetosphere collapses during this magnetic reversal, you know, it will render us without protection. Our primary shield will be down at a time when the sun's activity is moderately low and has been low for the last 3 solar cycles, which is our secondary protective shield. I'm talking about the heliosphere that protects our solar system. We are not for those people that get off on, you know, the possibility of a Earth catastrophe. We are not out the woods yet, and by any means we have not reached even the equilibrium. We're not halfway there yet. We won't be until that pole goes into an accelerative mode, and we could be very close to that. And if we do, it's going to affect the biodiversity on this planet across every single range. It is, I've got to say this, it is criminal that we have suffered, you know, such low support, you know, and you know, it really, it hurts, you know, when we lose someone like Jim, you know, who's been supporting us for a long time. You know, you do rely on that income to keep things ticking over here. It might not seem a lot of money to a lot of people, £500, but it is a lot for us here at the observatory. Anyhow, you know, I just wanted to set the record straight. We have not failed at all, and those people that come onto this channel creating trouble, well, you know, you're just going to end up in the same place as everyone else that has caused trouble in the past, and that is blocked from the channel. And we know that even doing that, they come back under another name, you know, causing more trouble. It's, you know, they're just going to end up the same. You know, I don't even reply to these people anymore. I just block them. You know, the work we've done is proof of our observatory. You know, to predict something 4.5 years off and be absolutely right just proves that what we've been doing is the right thing. And you know, the other thing that we do is try and educate people to the vulnerabilities which they face due to their geographic location on this planet, and try and help them, stay out of harm's way. And I believe that we have helped a lot of people over the last few years come to realise, the significance of their vulnerability, and they have took measures and steps to avoid, total loss. So again, we've done a good thing. We need a significant now effort from a few good people out there, to all of us to come together and put a bit of support in to this observatory, because we've just been dealt a massive blow. And I don't blame Jim whatsoever for withdrawing that support. I'm just happy that he supported us as long as he did, but I'm just saying, that is a big chunk of our revenue that keeps things running here, and without it, it's going to be a struggle from here on, and I don't know what to do. So I can only mention the link down there in the description, and hope that we have some like-minded people realise and appreciate what we've done and help support us. There's nothing more to say. I've made my case. What? We didn't fail in this month. We predicted 4.5 years ago something that was right, and we give a heads up before it became public awareness. That is what we do at the maverickstar Observatory. I think we've proved ourselves. Only one thing to say, and that is take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.